God,
Alright,
hit her.
I'll be doing videos, yeah.
I did not hit her.
I'm tired as
Oh, hi, Mark.
Godzilla is approaching the generator. The generator is losing power.
Jaws the Revenge, because apparently I like talking about total and you guys seem to enjoy watching it. So here I am doing it again. Welcome back to another Hilariocity review. My last one was Batman and Robin. You guys really enjoyed that and you requested me to do more of these, so I'm back talking about not only one of the worst sequels ever made, I actually think Jaws the Revenge is one of the worst movies ever made. But it's pretty hilarious and awesome. And I've wanted to do a review of Jaws 4 for a long time because Siskel and Ebert did a video review of this movie, and that was one of the first video reviews that made me want to do movie reviews. So it really inspired me, and I felt the need to bring my brand of destruction to Jaws the Revenge because there's just no stopping making fun of this movie. Now, I'm not going to describe the plot of Jaws 4 yet until later in this video because it's by far one of the funniest parts of this movie, and I want to savor it. So the movie opens with the cliched underwater viewing shot. You see the point of view of the shark, and then it comes up over the water, but you can kind of see above the water as well. So it's almost like you're really the point of view of the fin, because you're seeing what the shark is seeing, but you're seeing above water. But you know what? This shark spends the majority of the movie above water and not underneath it. So I guess it does make sense in Jaws the Revenge.
When you see the shark at the top of the water, you only see its fin coming out. And yet when you get the shark's point of view, like we just saw,
looking at the people,
it's like its eyes are above the water too. That's a logical error among many logical errors.
You've got that right.
Within seconds, you know the filmmakers don't care about you because there's this horrible sped up shot of Ellen Brody's hand approaching the fridge where you can tell they just thought, well, she did that too slowly, so we're gonna have to speed that up in post. But Ellen Brody is on Amity Island with her son. There's Christmas carolers. For some reason, this movie took place during Christmas time. And her son has to go out on the water, of course, to clear away some wood that floated into something and got stuck. And what do you know? There's a shark. And he dies in a flurry of cuts and choppy editing that are apparently supposed to tell us that someone's being eaten alive by a shark. But it really just looks like if you handed a camera to an NFL quarterback and told him to throw it into the ocean, and then you get that shot of just like spinning and spinning and blurriness, and then eventually something splashes in the water and you're not entirely sure what it was. That's Jaws 4's way of showing a shark attack. So Ellen Brody's son dies, and of course she's really broken up about it. Her other son, Michael, comes to Amity Island. He's a marine biologist, of course, because what else would he do if it didn't involve water, despite his entire family being constantly attacked by sharks? And within just 5 minutes, Jaws 4 feels like a melodramatic soap opera that you'd find on daytime TV. There's nothing about this movie that tells you it's a summertime thrill ride. This movie is depressing as gloomy, dreary, and ugly. Now, I mentioned the plot earlier, and here is where we get our first little taste of said plot.
It came for him.
What?
It waited all this time and it came for him.
Apparently this specific shark came for her son. So Roy Scheider, the star of the first two films, was smart enough to say no to the third one and even smarter to say no to this one. So they killed him off for some reason. That's right. He had a heart attack between movies. Now, the reason that he had a heart attack was because of...
Hey, come on! You can't believe that voodoo. Sharks don't commit murder. They don't pick out a person.
It picked out Sean. It killed your father.
Dad died from a heart attack.
He died from fear. The fear of it killed him.
I would think if anyone on this planet would not be afraid of sharks, it would be the guy who killed two already. So now we get a little more introduction to Mike Brody, her son, the marine biologist character. And during this scene, in the middle of his dialogue, he just takes off running for no apparent reason.
Kids, you know, he always wanted to do it.
Hey, where are you going?
Nowhere!
The only thing I can think of for why that would happen is the writers all of a sudden were like, oh my god, guys, we don't have time to finish the scene. Just have him run away. Seriously, is this movie depressing or what? There's someone crying or moaning or screaming in every scene. So Ellen Brody, understandably, is feeling very broken up. She already lost her husband to a heart attack because he's really afraid of sharks. And she just lost her son to an actual shark. So she's feeling sad and she is screaming at her son.
I want you to get out of the water. I want you to give up that terrible job.
Dinner,
I don't
it's
want
all right.
anyone in my family anywhere near the water. Never again.
So guess where she goes in the very next scene?
Swing me!
Okay, okay.
A boat in the water. So, yeah. And once again, my God, this movie is so sad. It's so depressing. Who thought Jaws the Revenge needed to be a cry fest? It's like Spider-Man 3 had a baby with Jaws 3, sucked any fun that was in both of those films out, and it became Jaws 4, the movie where everyone cries all the time and it's sad and disgusting and dreary and horrible. So we're watching the movie and things are happening, and what the f*** is Michael Caine doing in this movie? Michael Caine? Why are you in this movie, man? So Michael Caine collects a paycheck playing an airline pilot. In fact, this is actually known as one of his paycheck pictures. Other ones included movies like The Swarm. And of course, what would any responsible pilot do to a family that's just lost a loved one and has all of the remaining members in his own cabin?
Then you go like this, and then the house gets warm. You want to go for a ride?
Come on, man. Harrison Ford would be ashamed. Harrison Ford's the man. So next we are greeted with the cheapest, most minute, most simple level of thrill possible in a movie.
What's happening is that I want your sugar and pure heart. What? Give me your energy.
Like they say on Saturday Night Live, I hate when that happens. A dream sequence. People were groaning in the theater when that happened. I mean, I want to go up and punch a hole in the screen.
Now, when I watched the original classic Jaws film, and even the alright Jaws 2, and screw it, the hilarious Jaws 3, all of those movies still feel like summer movies because they all take place during the summer. They still have a vibe of fun infused into them. Even the terrible Jaws 3 still feels a little bit warm, a little bit inviting. They all feel that way. The choice to place Jaws 4 during Christmas was the most horribly misguided choice since, like, hey, let's just have Die Hard 5 just be terrible. So finally, we get our first look at the shark. Please observe. That's it. Zero suspense. Zero. Okay, there's no suspense. It cuts directly to a close-up of the shark. Which, by the way, just followed them from New York to the Bahamas. The shark followed them from New York to the Bahamas. Now Michael Caine shows up again in this movie, reminding us that he wanted to buy a nice big house. Did you know that he was unable to accept his Oscar win in person because of his work on this movie? And in another example of the worst pilot in history...
Take the wheel.
No, I can't.
Sure you can.
No, I mean, I don't know how.
Yeah, nobody does till they learn.
What are you doing?
At this point in the movie, we are 30 minutes into this film, and there has been no suspense. I mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's been a soap opera the entire time. And then finally, something happens. The shark shows up and starts chewing on Mike's boat. And during this scene, we get to see Ellen's first use of her psychic connection with the shark.
Sailor Saturn will soon awaken unless we get to her first. Once she's allowed to awaken, that'll be the end of the Earth as we know it.
Nothing. I'm fine.
So yeah, this random shark is hunting the Brody family. This shark that apparently is buddies with the other 3 sharks is now hunting the Brody family. It's like the shark was like, I don't like you because you killed my 3 buddies. I'm gonna travel to the Bahamas and I'm gonna kill the Brody family and I'm gonna find all of you sons of because I'm a shark. And I'm gonna find you and you're going down, Brody. I can't even contain it. Oh my god, that's the dumbest plot ever in a movie. I think it's the #1 dumbest plot in the movie ever, guys. I really do. Even the tagline of this movie is, "This time, it's personal." And speaking of that tagline, I recall a scene from Jaws 2.
You don't think that if a shark was destroyed, that another shark could come in?
Sharks don't take things personally, Mr. Brody.
Apparently none of the elementary school writers who wrote this script had seen Jaws 2, so okay, I'll deal with that. And since we're all sitting there watching this Jaws movie hoping for a thrilling film, we want some suspense, we want some entertainment, we want to see some shark action, and we want to see some cool characters involved with said shark action. The filmmakers thought, well hey, they don't want any of that. We just want to see these characters wandering around the city, blah blah blahing about random and dancing. And guess what? They're gonna go dancing again! Because that's what we want to see. We want to see these 2 middle-aged to slightly older people just partying. That's what we want to do right now. But in a film so stupid, with hardly any real action or any real suspense, at least maybe the dialogue can save it, right?
I've always wanted to make love to an angry welder. I've dreamed of nothing else since I was a small boy.
Nope. So they rig a tracker and stick it in the shark that's out for revenge. And we're almost immediately returned to sad relationship drama and boring, serious family discussions because they needed to remind us that we were watching Jaws the soap opera. And do you remember how annoying that first dream sequence was? The cheapest possible level of thrill you can have in a movie?
Death Reborn! Revolution!
How about the next dream sequence? Another It's Only a Dream.
I can't stand the dream sequences. Why do they do that in the movie? If there's anything that annoys an audience, it's the dream sequence. I hate that stunt. It's old, it's cheap, it's a lousy gimmick, and I wish they would stop doing it.
And the film's most clever dramatic scene is actually a direct ripoff of the first Jaws. In the first Jaws, Roy Scheider and his son mimicked each other by touching themselves on the face. It was so cute and so touching. The best Jaws 4 can do in regards to drama is rip off one of the best scenes in the first Jaws. So Jaws attacks Mike's boat, and you can tell they always have to frame the shark with his lower belly out of shot so they can hide whatever they use to move him around. It's so after being attacked directly by the shark that his own mother has warned him is hunting their family, he gets out of the water, and then 2 minutes later he goes right back into the water where he knows this shark is that wants to eat him. I'm telling you, the writers have completely given up on giving us compelling reasons for anything to happen at this point because it's the 4th film in the franchise, they've got no more ideas, and they're assuming they have a built-in audience that's going to provide them with funds to continue to make Jaws movies forever. So Ellen gets more psychic readings as Jaws approaches this banana boat with a bunch of kids on it and eats a woman. I'm telling you, she has a psychic connection with the shark. I'm not making this up. It's actually in the movie. Whenever the shark is nearby, she actually gets up and bolts and looks out into the ocean like she recognizes that the shark is there. They have a connection. She's like an X-Men. I'm telling you, it's crazy. So she gets really mad. She steals this boat and goes out into the ocean on her own. What exactly is she attempting to accomplish? She has no gear, no weaponry, nothing. What is she going to do against this shark? Is she going to throw herself at the shark? Is she literally going to jump into the ocean, allow the shark to eat her so that it can all be over? This movie just made me have a short circuit in my neck. So all the characters magically meet up for the big finale. And before Michael Caine shows up with his airplane to take them to wherever she is, you're telling me they planned to sail out into the ocean on that? with the giant frickin' shark that can sail across the country. So they find Ellen, they crash land their plane into the ocean, and these idiots jump into the water where the man-eating shark is and swim to the boat, and here's Ellen's explanation for her actions.
Why did you take the boat?
It kept
Did
coming.
you realize what you were doing?
I had to do it. There was nothing else to do.
Mom, you shouldn't have done it.
The shark then attacks Michael Caine, and his reaction's amazing. It probably is the best part of the movie, but of course, he survives said attack, climbs out of the boat, and...
That last scene is preceded by one of the most glaring errors in recent movie history. Michael Caine has been in the water, has swum to safety onto the boat, but in the very next scene, his shirt is as dry as if it had just been freshly laundered.
It's not even the next shot. Michael Caine actually comes over the rail out of the water, and he's totally dry. I was sitting in the theater, and I said, his shirt is dry. You know, the preview audience appreciated that. You know, I always hate it when people talk during the movies, but I don't know. That seemed to go over pretty well.
Yeah. That's right, Roger Ebert. His shirt is dry. Now, Michael Caine's apparent explanation for this was that they took so long for the next setup to be done that his shirt dried in the sun. They couldn't just spray him down with some water? I mean, how easy is that? You just take, there's a water tank. You're in a water tank right there. Just take some water, just throw it on him. So they rig what I call a movie device. It's an object that doesn't actually exist in real life and thus must be explained to the audience, and preferably extremely fast so that we don't question its lunacy. They have some kind of electronic thing that resembles a flashlight that will obviously electrocute the shark after he eats it at the push of a button. So they successfully get this electronic thing into the shark's mouth as it launches itself out of the water, as I said, spends way more time out of the water than in it, and then pulls this extremely obvious stunt double down underneath. In more examples of Ellen's incredible psychic abilities, she starts to have flashbacks to events that she never witnessed. In fact, no one witnessed. We were the only people, us as the audience, who got to see Roy Scheider blow up a shark. We were the only people who got to see her son be killed. And yet somehow, she is able to recall these memories because she's a X-Man. Now this is the best part of the movie. I'm telling you guys, this is the best part of the movie. There's nothing on earth better than this. The shark is like balancing on its back fin, okay? On top of the water as they zap it with the electronic thingy. And it starts roaring like a lion. I swear to you, it starts growling like a lion. Sharks don't have vocal cords or even lungs. What happened? It roared like a lion. Oh my God, who wrote this? That's not the best part. As it balances on its fin, she rams the boat into it, and it explodes! It explodes! The shark blows up for no reason. It blows up. Oh my God. Now there is an uncut ending to this movie and it's much better. Apparently it's only available on like certain cuts of the movie. It was shown on a few TV stations and I don't know about what country had it or what country didn't have it. But she rams the shark in this ending and she impales it and the shark is like, and it's like spraying absurd amounts of shark blood everywhere. And then the shark breaks off and falls into the ocean. That was a much better ending than the actual ending we got in the theatrical cut that steals the exact shot from the end of the first Jaws of the shark sinking into the ocean. They actually took the exact shot. Oh yeah, and by the way, this dude is still alive. After he was eaten by a shark, and then they were electrocuting said shark, and then it somehow blew up. Yeah, that guy lived. In the next scene, they're magically back on land. Now, they needed a plane to get out there. Their boat sank. Their plane sank. How did they get back on land? I'm telling you, I swear this movie was written by elementary schoolers. In fact, you know what? That's what they did. Universal took this script, sent it to an elementary school somewhere, and asked all the kids to pass it around and say, hey, write down what you think would be cool in a shark movie. And they all went, oh, cool, yeah. Well, I'd like to see a guy fly around and do stunts. Okay, there you go. Well, I think a shark should follow a family around the world. Okay, there you go. Well, I think somebody should be so afraid of a shark that he dies because he's afraid of the shark. Okay, there you go. Well, I think that sharks can roar like lions, and I want to see a shark roaring like a lion. There you go. That's what happened with this script. I guarantee it. Jaws 4 is one of the worst movies ever made, ever, by a person, ever. It's got a shark that can travel from New York to the Bahamas just because it has a grudge against a family because 3 of his other shark buddies blew up once. It has Ellen Brody and her amazing psychic powers that allow her to know when a shark is nearby and to have flashbacks to memories that she never witnessed and no living person did witness. And let's not forget that the shark can growl like a lion. Guys, thank you so much for watching this Hilariocity review. I'm very much looking forward to bringing you guys more of these because I've gotten absurd amounts of requests to do more. I'm really enjoying these, and thank you so much as always for giving me those requests because it's really cool to be able to know what you guys are thinking, and one of the biggest ones I got was Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage. Yes, that movie's amazing, and that's going to be my next Hilariocity. Thank you so much as always for watching, guys, and if you like this, you can click right here and get stuckmanized.